Information shared on the following program is for general information purposes only. It does not constitute legal, tax, investment, or other advice, nor is it intended to recommend any particular investments, products, or financial instruments. Always seek advice from your financial advisor, attorney, or accountant with regard to investment, legal, or tax questions.
Welcome to the only show in the country dedicated to helping savers worry less about money, the Worry-Free Retirement, with your host, nationally recognized retirement specialist and six-time author and fiduciary, Tony Walker.
In 1996, First Lady Hillary Rodham Clinton wrote an interesting book entitled It Takes a Village. And while I've never read it, I do like the title and must admit I'd never heard this term before. Yet, after some research, discovered that it was not Mrs. Clinton who came up with the term, it takes a village, but rather this term was long ago attributed to a Nigerian prophet who rightly observed that in order to have a great village, you need all the people in that village using their unique talents and pulling their weight to make great things happen. Which is the topic of our show today as I explain how the family atmosphere, the village if you will, created at Tony Walker Financial is making it possible for our staff to help more and more savers worry less and less about money in retirement. So let's find out how the villagers at Tony Walker Financial are serving more and more savers. Well, welcome, folks, to the Worry-Free Retirement. And yes, I am that little man in the sweater vest, village building specialist and full-time fiduciary, Tony Walker. And before we share with you the wonderful family-oriented village we call Tony Walker Financial, let me introduce to you two villagers in the show this week. That's right, you heard him in the intro, America's favorite financial sidekick, Mr. Aaron Orander and Derek Hudson. So Aaron, Derek had to skedaddle and working on some graphics for the time being, but how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing just fine. Thank you very much. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. On this February 27th, is it 27th?
That's correct.
2024, and approximately when will this show be on? I know it's on Thursday through Sunday, depending on the stations, but...
This show is going to air sometime in March.
Sometime in March. Okay, good enough. And by the way, have you ever seen the book by Hillary Clinton, It Takes a Village?
You know, I've heard the phrase, and I guess for a while I thought maybe she kind of coined it because I knew she wrote a book, but I've never read it. I've never even really seen the cover of it. Yeah.
I think it's an interesting, I like titles. Of course, I've authored 6 books, and I do like the title. So give her kudos for that title, but let's also make sure we realize she didn't come up with it. But I'm going to take that title and run today because I think it's very important. Aaron, you're very familiar with our organization, and technically you're employed by Worry-Free Productions, you and Derek, but it's all kind of one big family here. But would you say from your observations at our client events, watching people come in and out of our Louisville office, would you say that we do a good job of creating what I would say is more of a family atmosphere around here?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think, even so last week while you were gone, you were on vacation last week, and Craig, who is in our Louisville office, actually got a really nice email from someone who said they, really enjoyed watching the show. They want to meet with you because they just have a good sense, a good feeling of comfort about it. So yeah, I would definitely say you guys are nailing it on that.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, Craig had passed that along, and that was a great compliment. So all of you out there, folks, that listen to this show regularly, watch the TV show on a regular basis, maybe you're a client of Tony Walker Financial, we certainly appreciate your comments, and we are doing our best to keep this atmosphere as family-oriented as we can. And it is challenging. I admit that. I mean, we are growing by leaps and bounds. We have over 3,000 clients. Our Schwab platform's grown to right at 250 million with over 2,000 accounts with Schwab, not to mention all the hundreds of millions of annuities we've written over the years. But it is my goal, folks, to treat this like a village. I do believe it takes a village. And what you're going to find out today is, while, I guess Tony Walker is kind of the front person here, there is no way I could accomplish even half of what I've accomplished without this village of hard-working people who are employed and work tirelessly at Tony Walker Financial to make this happen. So what I've learned, okay, and we're going to talk about this more, is this. For any saver to enjoy a worry-free retirement, that saver is going to need a village of people. Wait a minute. Aaron Derrick just stepped in. What is it, Derrick?
Hey, I know about the village people.
It's fun to stay at the YMCA.
Aaron, tell Derrick that's not what we're talking about, the village people. You got to love Derrick. Now, what I'm talking about, folks, is the people at Tony Walker Financial that combine their unique strengths and weaknesses. We're going to talk a lot about strengths and weaknesses here today and why it is so important to recognize what your strengths are, but also to recognize what your weaknesses are. So today you're going to find out what the role Tony Walker plays in the overall operation, but more importantly, what the role of all of the staff members, these villagers, if you will, that come alongside me to make sure that our clients get the service they deserve. You know, I was thinking about this, Aaron. You think about two different camps. And I know you've had to deal with 1-800 numbers. It may not have been on financial matters, but have you ever been in that situation where you're trying to contact a big company, I don't know, credit card company or something, and you get the runaround or they accidentally hang up on you and you just kind of feel like you're just a number? Have you ever experienced that with any kind of customer service?
Yeah, I would say there was probably one time, like when we first bought our house, you know, you're trying to fix it up, and I think we had maybe called like a window company or something. And it wasn't anything local. It was a 1-800 number, one of those. See if you qualify for blah blah blah. You know, one of those things. And yeah, it was like I probably talked to 3 or 4 different people, and after that, I was like, you know what, never mind. I'm done.
Yeah, and we're not to dog in Wall Street here, folks, but basically these humongous institutions, many of which handle your 401k plans, I kind of refer to those as the big boys on Wall Street. And if you think you're going to get the type of services you would get from the same type of proprietors on Main Street, I mean, Aaron, I love, even in Louisville and Bowling Green, there are certain areas of these towns, I love going to these little, small, let's call them mom and pop shops. That's not to be, but they're locally owned.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in there and you actually get to meet the owner? I mean, it's a totally different experience, isn't it?
Yep.
And so that's what we're talking about, folks. How do we create this village of people at Tony Walker Financial that create this unique experience that make our clients feel like we really do care about them? So when we come back, some really interesting things that I've done in the organization to make sure that we are focusing on our strengths and weaknesses to be sure that our clients are serviced the way they deserve to be serviced. Good stuff coming your way as we explore that it does take a village to provide the service you're looking for. I'm Tony Walker along with Aaron Orender. We will be right back.
Hi, this is Heather Hughes. I'm one of the fiduciaries at Tony Walker Financial. I've been with the firm since 2006, and in these last 18 years, we've gone from a staff of 3 to 3 offices with a staff of over 17. One reason that working here is so great is Tony just treats the staff and the clients like family. He truly cares about our staff, and he strives to find our strengths and places us in roles in what we enjoy doing the best. As well, he truly cares for his clients. Tony loves meeting with clients in person, continues to do that on a regular basis, and he also hosts annual client events to show his appreciation to clients and trusting us with their retirement plans. I would agree that, it takes a big effort to serve over 3,000 clients. It definitely takes a village, and we're happy to do that here.
Have you recently retired, been laid off, or offered a pension buyout? Has the company you work for moved, been acquired, or closed its doors forever? And finally, do you have a 401k with a previous employer you'd like to move to safer territory? Then take advantage of this opportunity to move your 401k or lump sum pension to Tony Walker Financial. Let's meet in person to discuss your retirement options. Log on now to TonyWalkerFinancial.com to schedule your free, no-obligation appointment. Let us help you today.
With the uncertainty of the stock market, our nation's debt spiraling out of control, and inflation running rampant, now may be the best time to consider moving your 401k to safer territory. My name is Tony Walker, and for over 38 years I've made it my life's mission to help savers worry less about money, and I want to help you too. To speak with me at no cost or obligation, why don't you log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com and let's get started.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Worry-Free Retirement. I am America's favorite financial sidekick, Mr. Aaron Ornder, and I got the TNT for us. Here we go. It says, Tony, I'm concerned about the future of Social Security and thinking of taking it as soon as I turn 62 for fear that it might not be here for me in the future. What are your thoughts about the certainty of Social Security in planning for one's retirement?
Well, it's a great question, and I guess that comes up at least 2 or 3 times a week when I'm meeting with folks. And here it is, okay? It is very apparent that based on the Social Security's own trustees, these are the people that oversee the trust fund that apparently is there for Social Security, they admit that either, depending on which article you read, in its current state will run out of money in 2033 or 2034. So, in keeping with our theme, and it takes a village, my thoughts in regards to the solvency and predictability of Social Security is that it will take more than a village to keep it going, or at least be able to pay the benefits as we are so accustomed to now. So, what are the options for Uncle Sam to keep this Social Security system from going down the tubes in 2033 or 34, whenever it's supposed to go broke? Well, a recent article I saw on this had 3 very good options. Here we go. Number 1, raising the retirement age, currently the full retirement age is 67, to 69. That would push it back and push those benefits back. Number 2, implementing means testing for high-income beneficiaries. This is what I think they'll do. In other words, right now, you can, whatever your income is, you're going to get the full Social Security. But down the road, kind of like a welfare state, if you make too much income, even though you would be eligible for Social Security, I'm predicting they would cut those benefits back. And number 3, increasing the taxable income cap. And they're already doing this. For instance, okay, this is dealing with the payroll taxes. That's your FICA. That's that roughly 7.2% or whatever it is that you and your employer have to match. Well, in 2022, those limits were $147,000. In other words, if you made more than $147,000, you wouldn't be taxed as much on your FICA. But now in 2023, it went up to $160,000. And so in 2024, so basically they just keep increasing that amount, meaning the more income you make, the more they're going to take to fund Social Security. Then the other issue with Social Security that nobody's talking about is the taxation of Social Security, which has never been increased in years. Meaning the more money you make, the more taxes you're going to have to pay on Social Security, so they're going to get it that way. So presently, here's the point with Social Security, folks, and it's with any budget, even your household budget. If there's more money going out the back door than coming in the front door, you got a problem. And that's the problem with the Social Security system. There's not enough money coming in to fund the liabilities of all these people retiring and living so long, which again is draining the system. So very good lesson there to learn even for your own finances, which is what we do at Tony Walker Financial. Our job is to make sure our retired clients have more coming in the front door than going out the back door. And we do that by minimizing fees, minimizing taxes, minimizing risk, all the things a saver should do to make sure that they're enjoying their money at the least amount of cost and least amount of risk. All right, back to our theme of It Takes a Village. And how did we begin working in such a family-oriented atmosphere at Tony Walker Financial? Where did this really start? And although I've been doing this nearly 40 years, it really started in around 2002, where I began to revamp my practice and my attitudes on how I was going to structure Tony Walker Financial when I joined a program in 2002 called Strategic Coach. And we've talked about this program before. It's a 3-year program for entrepreneurs. I would go quarterly on my own nickel, by the way, to Chicago every quarter, study the processes and the ideas of a gentleman by the name of Dan Sullivan, who created Strategic Coach. And what was interesting, Aaron, and you've taken this exam, I've asked you to take it as well, all of our staff takes it. When I first joined the coach program, they said, oh, by the way, Tony, in order to be in this program, you have to take something called the Colby exam. And I'm like, what is that? Remember that? I asked you to take it?
Yeah, it's funny that you bring that up. You know, I took it when I first started with you, so that was a little over 10 years ago. And I think we talked about it on a previous show, and it kind of got my wheel spinning. And I was like, I wonder if I ought to take that again. I wonder if anything's changed in, 10 years since the last time I took it.
Might be a good idea to take that. So really what the Colby exam just basically does, in a nutshell, it measures your strengths and weaknesses. And the whole point is, there was a great book also written by Harry Beckwith. It's a great book. It's called Selling the Invisible. By the way, back then I read probably 100 books on marketing and psychological profiles and how to provide things that customers are really looking for. I love that kind of stuff. Very service-oriented. But what I found was, what Mr. Beckwith concurs is, you've got to, number one, figure out what you're really good at. That makes sense, Aaron?
Yep.
I mean, like Aaron, he's the producer of the TV and the radio show here. He's really good at that. So combination of the TV shows, how many shows have you produced now? What are we up to now? Today, what will that be?
Well, TV show will be episode 505.
5. Okay, so I would say after 500 episodes, wouldn't you agree you've gotten pretty good at that?
I hope so. I hope. Thank you for the compliment. I hope I am.
But that's the key. And so what I've done is I've brought people into the organization that have strengths that I do not have, I do not possess. So you'd say, well, Tony, what's your strength? Well, my strength is I'm very good at problem solving, very good at communicating. I'm very good at understanding real quickly what's going on in somebody's financial lives when I meet with them. But what I'm not that great at, or what I really don't enjoy doing, quite frankly, I don't enjoy all the details that are involved in all of the service work. Folks, the amount of paperwork, the amount of hoops we have to jump through in managing millions and millions of dollars of money on both the Wall Street side and on the annuity side and life insurance. That's why I've got 17 in Tony Walker Financial, besides myself, 17 full-time staff. And I pay them really good money because I realize those people who have taken the Colby exams, by the way, have strengths that I do not possess. And what happens is we've created now this village. Remember our theme, it takes a village. We've created this village of people who are there to serve the needs of these thousands of savers. So that's you right now. You might be sitting there going, Tony, I do feel like a number. I don't feel like I'm working with people that truly care about me. I can't even meet with the owner of the company. I don't even know where the owner of the company even resides. Every time I call, I get a different person or I get a different answer. If that's you, if you're retired, retiring soon, maybe you've got an old 401k somewhere that's, and by the way, our minimum account sizes are $50,000. We have to have at least $50,000 to invest. That's how we make our money. But if that's you, maybe you've received an inheritance recently, sold a property, sold a business, just tired of taking risk and want to learn how to safeguard your money and maybe even get some of that beloved well, then we need to talk. It's real easy to do, too. We call this the free 10-minute fiduciary phone call. And to learn more about how it takes a village to be worry-free, why don't you pick up the phone right now and give us a call? It's 877-499-9255. And just tell the staff you'd like to set up a 10-minute phone call with Tony Walker to discuss your situation. And if it warrants, if we think we can help, I'm going to be meeting with you in person at either our Bowling Green, Louisville, or Lexington, Kentucky offices. Or if you'd like, you can simply go online to TonyWalkerFinancial.com, TonyWalkerFinancial.com, and click on that Let's Get Started button. Okay, when we come back, an interesting Live Well, Die Broke provided to us by Aaron, and also a little bit more detail in what the staff, the villagers at Tony Walker Financial provide our clients, and how I feel in my own heart our service is second to none. You're listening to The Worry-Free Retirement. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Trey Juergens, full-time fiduciary here in the Louisville office. And when I started with Tony Walker Financial, there was actually only 5 full-time employees. Since that time, we've grown to 19 full-time staff. And what I really admire about Tony is just sticking to the mission of helping more and more savers worry less about money. Evidence of that is the amount of service staff here to service our client needs and those retirement game plans that he's designed for so many savers, but also building out the process, knowing that all of our full-time fiduciaries can stick to that process and help our clients. It really does take a village.
Are you retired or retiring soon? Do you have a 401k, IRA, 403b, TSP, or lump sum pension that you'd like to move to safer territory? Did you know that all the money you see on your 401k statement isn't really yours?
Depending on your overall taxable income, the government essentially has a lien on your 401k that can tax as much as 40% of your money when you go to take it out. And with current tax rates set to expire in 2025, and considering the fact that our nation's debt is spiraling out of control, do you really think taxes will go down after 2025 or go up? Here's my advice. Don't sit around waiting to see what Uncle Sam will do to your taxes in 2025. If you have more than $250,000 in retirement assets, contact us now by logging on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com or give us a call at 877-499-9255.
Welcome back, folks, to the Worry-Free Retirement. And our Live Well, Die Broke moment comes to us from Brenda, who said the following. On one of Tony's recent TV shows, I heard Tony talk about connecting one's personal bank account to Schwab and how easy it is to make transfers from Schwab. I just wanted to confirm that this process works great, and also wanted to pass along how much I love your TV show, as I try my best to catch it each weekend as I learn something every week.
Well, thank you, Aaron. And of course, thank you, Brenda, for first being a client of Tony Walker Financial, and secondly, for your kind words about our process of linking your checking account to the Charles Schwab account that we manage and how easy it is to make those withdrawals at no additional out-of-pocket expense. And let me explain this, folks. Again, our theme is It Takes a Village. Our Schwab department has grown immensely. And what's interesting about our Schwab department, first of all, we manage all of your money with Charles Schwab for 0.8%. That's it. I mean, that's an industry low average, but what we provide, the services, are second to none. In fact, I would say we charge half as much and provide twice as much services as a lot of these high-priced money managers who are really providing no planning services whatsoever. So, in fact, in 2023, Aaron, again, we've got over 2,000 accounts with Schwab totaling right at $250 million. We sent back to clients, this was their money, okay? We eagerly, when they request it, sent back to them just in 2023, $25 million for them to spend and enjoy. Sound pretty cool, doesn't it?
That's amazing. That's awesome.
And there was nearly 6,000, we tracked this, 6,000 transactions. So you're saying, well, who does all that? Our staff does. That's why I've got so much staff. Folks, if you are with Tony Walker Financial, you don't call Charles Schwab. You don't get on these 1-800 numbers tracking somebody down. You call Tony Walker Financial. If you're a client, we're going to handle all the details. We're going to select the investments. We're going to help you with the distributions. We're even going to calculate the tax withholdings at no additional charge. We are there for you, folks. Like I said, we're that firm on Main Street that is there to help you. We're local. We're great at what we do, and we want to be of service, all right? And our fees are some of the lowest in the industry. All right, in our time remaining, keeping in touch with this whole idea of it takes a village to provide a worry-free retirement for savers looking for safety, security, and someone they can trust, I thought what I would kind of do is remind people of our 5-step process, and then I may not be able to get to mention all of our wonderful staff in the time remaining. Oh, incidentally, Aaron, I appreciate you and Derek updating our website. Tell folks how they can go to the website and actually meet each of our staff members.
Sure, Tony, no problem. Folks, all you got to do is go to TonyWalkerFinancial.com, and right there in the top right-hand portion of the screen, there's going to be 3 little lines. Click on those, and that's going to bring you a drop-down menu. Click on the About Us, then click on where it says Our Team of Service Experts. You're going to see pictures of all of the staff. And when you click on those pictures, or right below their pictures, there will be about a minute-long video of Tony interviewing those staff members and what they do and how they service you, okay?
Well, thank you, Aaron. And I think it's important to note, too, folks, what I asked every staff member is, again, remember the key to doing good work and serving others is you have to enjoy what you're doing. Many of you are out there working and don't enjoy things. So this is cool because each video, I always ask each staff member, what do you enjoy most about working at Tony Walker Financial? So this village I've created is people that they have a desire to serve others. One reason we're closed on Fridays is I want to give our staff plenty of time off on weekends so when they come in on Monday morning, they're raring to go. and they're excited about their work. I don't know if you've ever experienced that, folks. You can tell when you're working with somebody or they're greeting you, if they enjoy what they're doing. I always get tickled, Aaron, if you go into a restaurant or a hotel and the people there greet you, you can tell when people hate their job, can't you? It's like, why do you have this position? You know, they look like they're almost angry to see you. Folks, you got to love what you do, and then you have to know what you're good at. And that's what we constantly work on and try to improve at Tony Walker Financial. So how does this look? What is our process? Well, we have a unique 5-step process, which begins with what we call clarifying your vision. Now, in most cases, I'd say over 90% of the time, you're going to be meeting with me, the owner of the company. The reason I meet with so many people on the front end is because I've gotten really good at doing this. I mean, I've met with nearly 20,000 savers. I'm going to help you clarify what it is you're trying to accomplish. Then I'm going to know really quickly, after I look at all your documentation, how to put together the assessment. Sometimes I'll have one of the other salaried fiduciaries do that. That could be either Heather Hughes, my favorite son-in-law, Trey Juergens, or my favorite nephew, Wes Walker. But in most cases, I'm the fiduciary. I'm going to do the clarify your vision. Then we do the assessment. That's always done by myself. The assessment is then written out, laid out by myself. I look at all of the cases. We turn that over to the income planning department. That would be Miss Lisa Allerkamp. She is in charge of the income planning department. But within her department, we all meet together to go over the plan that I've laid out. It would be Leanne Tinsley, would be TJ Reagan, and Heather Hughes. So all those people collectively are taking my assessment and laying it out in the income plan. The third step, that's the second appointment. That's where we're going to meet, either myself or one of the salaried fiduciaries, to share with you the game plan. Here's what Tony thinks you should do. Doesn't mean you have to do it. It's what you should do. It's all written out. It's in a nice binder. There's no pressure. You're not charged anything for this. You're going to be able to take it with you. We want you to understand the game plan. Okay, that's either presented by myself or one of our highly trained salaried fiduciaries. Step 4 is the implementation. That's where you say, I want to move forward. I want to do business with you all, Tony. Okay, that's when I get out of the way. Aaron, you've seen me with paperwork. I'm not the best with paperwork. The staff runs me off at that point and says, Tony, get out of the way. We'll handle what we call the onboarding. We
love pushing Tony out of the way, folks. Just so you know, I'm just kidding.
That and they don't
kidding.
They don't let me operate the copier. It always breaks.
That's right.
Yeah, I think it's anything dealing with paperwork I'm not good at. But anyway, the onboarding department, which is Beth Wisman, it's Juanita Jackson, JJ Jaggers in our annuity department. There's lots of people that come in. Craig Davis. Craig Davis does all of the rollover calls. Folks, we take care of everything. And then finally, we move into the monitor your progress. That gets into our service department led by Mandy Houchins, Wendy Kelly. It just goes on and on and on with all of these people that are there to help make sure that you're taken care of. And I must mention too, before I should have started out this process, if you were to call right now and set up that free fiduciary phone call, or if it looks like we're going to be setting up an appointment, I know you know who this is in our office. Who handles all of our phone and does such a wonderful job?
That would be Miss Shanna Zachary. She's got probably one of the biggest jobs because she's kind of the first, she's the front line.
That's right. And she does a wonderful job. So maybe that's you right now. But you're sitting there saying, man, Tony, this whole takes a village. I've never thought about it. I'm tired of being on the other end of a 1-800 number. Or maybe you've got an advisor that doesn't even return your calls, doesn't seem to care about you, doesn't lay out a game plan. They just keep telling you don't worry about stuff. That's not a game plan, folks. You need somebody trained in the art of retirement planning. That's Tony Walker Financial. If that's you, give us a chance. There's no obligation to talk to us. Just log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com, TonyWalkerFinancial.com. Click on that Let's Get Started. We'll turn into action there and set up that phone call. And if it warrants, we're going to be meeting in person at either our Bowling Green, Louisville, or Lexington, Kentucky offices. Submitting stuff on the internet, not your thing, no big deal. Just give us a call anytime, toll free at 877-499-9255. It's 877-499-WALK. Well, we've enjoyed our time together, but between now and next week, you remember, if all else fails, you be worry-free and make it a good one.